Well, I could my husband, and he wouldn't even get up. I could hit Philip because he has said a whole lot of things that I intended to say. Anyway, I have three sons, right? And Neil is the middle one. And they always say that a middle child sort of misses out on things or feels different. Well, I think that happened in our family. I always thought that Neil would have been the first married. Reason being, he got all the Valentine cards, he got all the girls phoning him. You did, Neil. He got all the girls calling at the door. So it was a great surprise to me when my oldest son, who's sitting there, was the first married, and he's been married 23 years. And he, believe it or not, this is a sore point for Philip. Alan's always been taken for the youngest. But anyway, I had to wait 22 years for the next wedding because Philip just got married last year. Now, as regards Neil, I have to say this is one of the happiest days of my life. Was getting married last year, and I don't apologise to him or Lynn for saying this. I wish it was Neil was getting married. Because Neil to me was very, very fussy about girls. Now it isn't that he didn't have he went with girls. But there was always something wrong with him. And he was different from any of them. Well, from Alan, a couple of them. But Philip had a lot of girls. Philip brought them to the house. Neil never brought them to the house. He always said to me, it's on a need-to-know basis. You'll know when you need to know. And I always knew when he was going with the girl, but he wouldn't bring her home, and he would say, don't be bad hat. But when he started to go with Orla, I knew there was something different. And the first time that he brought Orla to our house, he had her by the hand, and now Orla, don't take this the wrong way, but I thought he would bring a wee girl in. And then I wondered who's the child that Neil was bringing up the palm. And he brought her in, I realised it was a girl. I knew it was a young girl. Now, I have to say, I'm going to try and be as quick as I can. I think Neil took so long in getting married because he got his heart broken at a very early age. When Neil was 5, he started school. His teacher was called Miss Searle. It was her first teaching post. Now, funny enough, she was very small too, dark hair and a lovely looking girl. And Neil fell for her. She came from Newcastle in County Down, and all he talked about was Miss Searle, Miss Searle, Miss Searle. And he was going to marry her when he grew up, right? So at the end of that term, he was passing into the next P2 and he was going to be a new teacher. And he came home from school crying, breaking his heart. He didn't want to move from her class. He loved her so much. And this is the truth, and you will agree, right? Anyway, he didn't want, he wanted me to go round to the school to see if he could still stand. He won't. And I said, don't be stupid, you have to go on. So here, about 2 weeks into the school holidays, we went to to Newcastle for the day. And we're walking along, and here comes Miss Searle with her boyfriend. And their arms round each other. Now, bear in mind he was nearly 6. He wouldn't look at her. His face just tripped him. And he never spoke, and this is the truth. We walked around Newcastle, lovely day. He never spoke for about half an hour to 3/4, and then all of a sudden he said, he says she can go on there. He says, I don't care about her. He says, I don't care if she marries him. And we met her years later, and she always asked about Neil. So I always think that sort of put him off, getting married. But as I say, Orla is the best thing that ever because Neil works for himself, by himself, and he was living by himself. And Alan and Philip used to keep him going at Christmas because he used to say, where are you going for your Christmas do? And he was on his own. So when Orla came along, it was just bang, and I knew it was love. So I am really happy, Orla, for this day. Because when Neil told me, and I'm telling you now, I know you think I'm old, well I probably am, but when Neil said he was getting engaged, I says, and when he was getting married, I says, well, thank goodness I can die happy. That we're getting another daughter-in-law. So this is the 4th Mrs. Major. Thank you.